Playing PvP in the division has been a headache for a lot of new players for a very, very long time, since the dawn of the first actual meta. And a lot of players don't understand that there are a lot of things that they can utilize in their playstyles in order to help them succeed in the division. A lot of people think it's all based around just build, and it's all based around just understanding the map and all, which is true, but there are a lot of other things that players just don't do that are super simple that any player can just pick up and do. So in this video, I'm gonna let you guys know my top 5 things, and not any particular order, but my top things I feel every good player that wants to become a quote-unquote pro or quote-unquote like veteran style player, and how to use these things and how to be able to utilize them in situations in order to make you succeed as a PvP player. So without further ado, let's get in it. Okay, first things first, let's get into what I feel is my best asset, which is my movement. And people don't realize how important this is, especially the lower end skill gap of players. So now in this meta, now that hip firing isn't as much of a problem as it was last meta, it is very, very, very hard for players to be able to capitalize on taking damage when they're running right up in a person's face. So as you guys can see, I popped in and out on him. I wasn't allowing him to have any room to ADS me, and it kind of stresses the player out. You can see that it's just like spreading all over the place. Some funny lag right there. And the moment I stop and to try to ADS him, that's the only time I really took damage. When you do movement, as you can see right here, he throws a nade because it's kind of frustrating for a player to have to capitalize on that. So you guys can see as I mail him real quick to get him out of here. Movement is the #1 thing that players do in order to stay alive. People think it's all about just having a crazy heal and stuff. No, if you're not getting hit by bullets, if you're not worrying about having to get gunned down immediately, it doesn't matter what build you have. If you make your players miss, make your enemies miss their bullets, that will keep you alive in the long run every single time. I don't care what anybody tells you. Movement is possibly, in my eyes, the most important thing that separates good players from bad players, because we are on console. Console's aim isn't as great as a PC, so we have more leisure in our movement system. Our movement system's 10 times more efficient, and it allows us the freedom to be able to survive in situations where we know we should have been dead. So on to the next one, and the next one being popping your heals efficiently. This is one of possibly the second biggest thing as far as survivability that players just don't do under the circumstances that they need to. So you'll see that I'm going to hurt myself right here, and I'm going to like simulate the normal casual player. What they'll do is their health will get low, they'll pop their regular heal, then their med kit just to try to get a full health, or they'll probably save their med kit, or whatever the situation may be. This is the wrong way to do it, and the reason it is because you're using a med kit for no reason. If you're going to heal up, you're going to ready in like your last segment, make sure you pop your med kit first. Even if you don't pop your heal, if you're one shot or you're one bar, your med kit should be the first thing you pop, unless you're absolutely overwhelmed and you have to try to get it off faster. So there's a big difference, because critical save makes that med kit 10 times more worthy than what it actually is if you didn't have it. So a lot of people don't understand that even though critical save got nerfed and it got shut down from the 40%, because before it was 40%, and that was absolutely insane. You were like baby god mode for a little bit, especially if you had a full heal. Use your med kit first to utilize that damage resistance, and then you pop your heal, because then you'll be able to try to face tank or do whatever you can to put out as much damage. So you'll see right here, I'll pop my med kit, then my heal, I'll have my booster shot resistance, and I'll have my critical save resistance with full health. So that would be the window I would use in order to ADS or try to burn a target or try to focus the weak person, whatever I can. That is the window you use in order to survive. So remember that. Do not forget that, because you will see the difference if you don't do that. So let's get to the next one. Another very, very big thing that separates regular groups from superior groups, or average players from great players, is the ability to be able to have control over the map. And what I mean by this is map positioning, funneling, being able to separate teammates, and able to capitalize on players getting too hungry for kills. So you can see, even though it is kind of cheesy in very ways, there's a lot of parts on the map that are cheesy. It's smarter to do this. I mean, yes, you can be on the floor at all times, checkpointing and doing whatever you can. That is a way. But if you want the longevity factor, especially when there's 2, 3, 4 groups after you, being able to position with your teammates in order to drag one person out. As you can see right here, this man left his team and he didn't have no heals or nothing, and they come one by one. It's kind of like a snowball. So as the one comes, they roll up, it gets bigger, and they're able to just get destroyed one by one by one. So being able to have control over the map, being able to understand what parts of the map are most efficient when you're trying to separate people from their team, or being able to get them out of their ult range, or being able to focus. That's separates so much manhunts from different types of manhunts. There's the manhunts that's sneaking at the manhunt and just die immediately, and then there's ones who play the map, who funnel, who work around the map, who allow players to make mistakes. So you play off of other players' mistakes, make them play stupid. Look at, as you notice this whole clip, one by one, they just came up separately, unless you come across a smart team that knows what they're doing. But for the most part, people don't do that, sadly. So yes, that is number one thing as far as team play, is being able to utilize the map to your advantage. So let's get to the next one. This particular tip or trick or a piece of advice is based off of, I guess, your play style. It could be, I mean, a lot of players may disagree, a lot of players may agree, but I personally feel if you do not have a dedicated healer on your team against a server that is decent, over time you're eventually going to collapse upon you guys itself. So like I said, whether the dedicated healer be a dedicated skill build or somebody who's running defib, that is possibly like a lethal aspect of this meta, because more than likely the other team has one, and being able to have those full overheals with Vigorous is amazing. So like I said, the combination is a person with defib and a person running, and the rest of the team running Vigorous. This is only if you want to go for these long fighting manhunts, not the ones that you want to run off, just one that you can just sit in the spawn and try your best to just go ham until you eventually die. But having a healer that has defib, that has a crazy ally heal, giving you full overheals no matter what health you at, that makes a big difference, because you're able to save your heals if you don't need to. You're able to stay alive way longer. You're able to sustain all kinds of tackles and defense pushes and all that good stuff. So make sure you have a dedicated healer. I don't care what kind of build it is. I mean, preferably the smartest would be Tactician with a skill haste, and make sure your whole team is running Vigorous, because Vigorous is a powerful piece of gear that a lot of people that slept on for a long time until this meta really came to be. So make sure you have a dedicated healer. And fundamentally, last but not least, and that is communication with your teammates. I get it. Sometimes you queue up with random people, you just play, and it's not hard to just, do what you do, pop ult when you see somebody go down, or if you see somebody shock focus them. Those things are understandable. We understand how the game works. Average players even know that. But communicating changes the game. And what I mean by that is, if I'm throwing a shock nade and I know somebody needs to be out to fight, whether it's a Seeker Miner or somebody or a Deadeye, we know who to focus. If I call it out, if I say, hey, there's a Deadeye over there, let's all push over there, so I'm not going by myself, so I don't get caught by myself. I'm able to take out the Deadeye or take out the Seeker with the help of my teammates. If I need a heal, or I need a med kit with Combat Medic, which is a super important talent to have. I forgot to mention that Combat Medic is really good. That is very unselfish playing, and it's the way you should be. If you want to keep your team alive, have Combat Medic. That basically gives all your teammates 16 med kits to work with, because whenever you need one pop, you're able to call it out, which ties into communication, because some players are in the game, you're not able to realize, okay, my friend's one shot at the bottom right of the screen. It's kind of hard to always pay attention to that at all times in all situations. So having that verbal confirmation, hey, I need a med kit for it to get popped, that changes your survivability ratio from dead to fully alive with an overheal, because you have your heals and you're able to do that. So being able to have teammates behind you to be able to save, to have your back, communicating saves you in so many predicaments, whether it be somebody calling out a tackle, which means stop ADSing or start moving around, start strafing, come to the heels, let's strafe, let's all move, let's reposition ourselves so we don't get caught up, or if 5-5, know I'm about to go down and I have the feeling, I just call out for a recovery link before I even go down to either save me or pick me up right when I go down, so that my teammates aren't one man down in order to fight a server. So this is why you see it almost feels like you're fighting one unit when you have a team that is in synergy and their talents are all based around, whatever situation you're in. Instead of, having 3 pulses, you have somebody with either EMP flashbang or an immune station or something in order to counteract whatever situation you're going to be in, and being able to know when to call that out. Like, look, there's a Seeker, somebody EMP it or focus it or run or dive out the way. Whatever communication you need, whether it goes from focusing in order to take the enemy out, or like a survivability call out in order to save yourself from dying or save a teammate from dying. those things you need to work on and have at all times. Division is a game where if you go against a team that is utilizing all these things that I mentioned in this video, it is extremely hard to take that team out. And that's why usually in every server, as we all have known since the dawn of PvP for us, there's always that one team that's taking on the server. It's never shared really. It's one dominant team, and it's who does these things the best. Are there many other things? Yes, absolutely. There's probably an endless list of situations and things you can do in situations in order to be a better player. But I think these are 5 fundamental things that if you don't use, you're going to end up getting bodied in DZ. And this is what separates the good players from the great players. It's the understanding of these core techniques and how to utilize them on the battlefield. So hope you guys enjoy it. If there's anything that I missed, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see if my quote-unquote self-appointed expertise was wrong or not. But let me know if you guys agree that you use one of these 5 things. Slap me with a like. Let me know exactly why and what situation it happened. But if I missed anything, let me know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. This is a different type of video for me. I just wanted to help out those who always have questions like how do you do it? Like how do you survive? How do you go against manhunts all the time? Like, how do you utilize the battlefield? How do you become a great player? So this is like my little baby Bible scripture version of what you should do in order to survive in the DZ and be an amazing division player. So thank you guys for stopping by. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Utilize these 5 things and go out there and body people. It's been real. Your boy is out.